cat's sitting right here. She missed me. She's like, hello, can I be on?
Cats are allowed. All right, Lori, we're on. How's it going?
Hi, I'm so excited to be back.
Back in California. Whoa. How long was your travel?
Oh gosh, 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks. That's what it was.
You don't even know. So,
I know. It seemed like forever when you go somewhere and you don't remember being. It was like, wow, this is great. This
yeah.
is all you
Lo-
remember. Ride your bike, eat cake for lunch, and get
Lori, in my
massaged.
screen, you're just a little to your right. You're like half your. Yeah, that's better. Now you're in the
Want
middle
me to
of my
move?
screen. I don't know if that matters on Facebook, but now
I
you're
don't care.
square.
Here, let me move. There we go.
Now you're in the middle. Looking good. Looking good. So,
Yeah.
so 22 hours or so to get home. Is that right? For a nine
Yeah.
hour. Oh my, that's a crazy thing. You kind of have to stay 3 weeks, don't you?
Yeah,
To
I
make it
know.
worthwhile.
Well, it was, the first week was just coaches. First 10 days was the coaches.
If y'all
And
don't know, Lori was in Mallorca in Spain doing training camps and working with folks and working, right?
working. Yeah. And working. And that's the hard thing. You're still working while you're working. But yeah, we had 10 days of working with the coaches and working on routes and working on skills clinics. They hired me to teach skills clinics at this camp and riding bikes, which was great. And then we had 8 days with our campers. And then I somehow booked my flight a little later than I should have probably and
Oops.
ended up with a few extra days, which was really nice because I got to just be with myself and ride my bike. And then we had 2 days of rain and I was stuck there just working and got a massage and a facial and a pedicure. That was
Oh
awesome.
man, that is a tough
Yeah.
way to make a buck, Lori. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
All
I have
right.
to say, I kept thinking, I have two friends who also live on the island who run cycle tourism businesses. And I was like, it's really tempting. I could go work in another country at this point, and that would be really fun and could still do a lot of the things that I do virtually as well. But
Yeah,
that's a big
totally.
move. So who
All
knows?
right.
But
So,
yeah.
while you were over there working hard, I was racing on Saturday. I did my Rasputitsa race, which I did last year and swore at the finish line, well, I don't need to do this again. There I
So
was
how'd it
lined
go?
up.
I saw your
Well,
video.
it went awesome. I am still kind of flying high from it, which is fun, and that's how it's supposed to be, and just everything. I was telling everybody while on the briefing last week about reflecting or visualizing the whole thing through. One of the funnest things was the drive up there. From my house, it's 2.5 hours to Jay Peak in Vermont. I swear I didn't see another car for one whole hour. Driving just like through the dirt mountain roads and everything. Apparently that's the closest way to get there. And I'm just like, what a fun, the whole day is fun. Even though it was 48 degrees when I left my house, 32 degrees and snowing on the start line. So what do you dress? How do you dress for 32 degrees and snowing at the start line, knowing it's going to be 52 degrees and
Yeah.
sunny by the time you're climbing the big hill at the top? So tough,
Yeah.
tough choices. And I did actually have a skull cap and gloves that I could pull off. But other than that, I just had a base layer, thin base tights, and bibs and a jersey, and my winter boots, my
Yeah.
winter not boots but shoe covers because there was mud to go in early. So anyway, like I talk to my clients, my athletes, is you got to use the other riders. You got to use
Yeah.
the other riders. My power output is nothing spectacular, but man, I can hold a wheel. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Uh, Gravel race. I mean, we went over 20 miles an hour for the first hour and change, and that's kind of what got me. I looked at my computer. I got caught looking at the computer like, oh, we're going to be done in 3 hours. This is awesome. And that's when the group rode right away from me going up a
Yeah.
hill. but I found a partner. Oh man, Lori, this woman, and I look, she's 19 to 29, young, like kid,
Dude.
a
Yeah.
beast though. She and I were trading pulls 30 seconds each for a half an hour to catch that group that never should have left us.
Yeah.
So we caught up to him, and I was able to hold my own after that long 1,200-foot climb in 4.5 miles.
Yeah.
1,200 feet in 4.5 miles. There was some 15, 17% in there on rocky, loose gravel. Put your tire where it has to be with every pedal stroke. I was happy to pedal up that whole climb and go past some people who had been ahead of me, but were walking their bikes. So that was kind
Yeah.
of validating and fun. And yeah, just finished respectably 4th place out of all the 50 to 59-year-olds. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
just happy all around. Got home safe, not a scratch on me. My bike is properly dirty, and it still is. I need to clean it. It's such a good experience, though. You put something on the calendar, and even though it was
Mhm.
only like 4 or 5 weeks away, it was really satisfying to go and do. And so that's what I try and talk to my people about, and even the people in this group, is put something on the calendar,
Yes.
even if it's a race, but something challenging. Put it out there. That's my test. Get ready for, prepare, and go and execute on
Yeah.
game day, and bring your A game to event day is a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
And that's, Matt talks about that a lot in class, right? We do the training, which is what we're doing, so we can go do the fun things and feel good doing the fun things. It's no fun to be unprepared for an event. And I think one of the cool things about the Gran Fondo series and gravel racing is they're both competitive events that also can be recreational events. So they're not traditional races that have now had a competitive component, and I think that's fun for a lot of people. So
You
even
could
people
totally
who would
pick your
say,
level of competition.
"Oh yeah, oh yeah," and for some people that's completion, right? We can compete,
Yeah.
we can complete, but it gives you the opportunity without having to commit to a whole year of, road racing or mountain bike racing. You can go out and do an event and have a goal and have a challenge. So
Yeah.
it's
So anyway, it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward
yeah,
to the next. I got a few other little things, but let's see. I have a couple people doing this gorge gravel grinder in
I've
Oregon
done those.
this coming weekend.
Yeah,
I have two people doing that. I have a couple of people going to the five borough ride in New York City. I think is the next weekend. Let's see, a bunch of people are coming June 1st to the Lehigh Hincapie. So yeah, just a number of events out there. So if you haven't got
yeah,
something on the calendar, I think Lori too encourage you to get something on the
yeah,
calendar and go and test.
yeah.
It's fun.
It's
Um,
definitely fun.
any reflections as we wrap up the preseason challenge? Anything stick out in your mind as key takeaways?
I really enjoyed being part of the chats. I will say that's where all the good stuff is happening in all these uh, chats, the chat groups that are based on what time people ride. Today there was a very interesting conversation, well, yesterday and today, about FTP and FTP testing and whether we should do a ramp test or a 20-minute FTP test and why the protocols are different and how they relate to training based on volume, and basically how everyone just hates testing in general. But there were a couple of good comments in there, which I really appreciate, and something that I think we've been trying to share with people as well, which is there are lots of ways to gauge your fitness and gauge your progress that don't involve testing. Testing is a tool to set a training zone. It's not necessarily meant to gauge your progress. And I can get fitter even though my FTP stays about the same. If somebody had mentioned that today, and I'll say, my FTP over the years, it basically stays the same, goes up a little, goes down a little, goes up a little, goes down a little,
Mine
but
too.
my fitness can improve in other ways. Somebody today said, yeah, but my 1 minute power is great. That's awesome. That's another gauge of how fit we are. Um, the other takeaway I had was about, the difficulty level of some of the rides that I prescribed in this program, and how a lot of folks early on were like, oh my God, this is way too hard and blah, blah, blah. And how many people have actually succeeded at these? And they're surprising themselves that when presented with this challenge, it's been a positive experience and a successful experience because they've followed that program. So I think that's pretty cool. You will see different changes, right? We were working on that high end fitness. So why did that 1 minute power improve? Well, probably because we've been training it. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a reason for things, isn't there? There's a
yeah,
reason for things.
there
Absolutely.
is.
Oh, cool. I just want to back you up on the discussions that go on in the Facebook group. Like, there's been some really good discussions, and just people backing each other up in the community and the team. That's been amazing. And yeah, to see people come around and make improvements
Mm-hmm.
has been a lot of fun to see. And on my end of things, trying to get people into events and get people into challenging themselves outside or on a long ride. Pelafondo was just last weekend. I mean, yeah, these longer events. I think a metric we never look at is TTE, or time to exhaustion, or the fatigue resistance, and how long can you hold your FTP. So it's one thing to know your FTP, but how long can you hold your FTP is a whole nother world, or a whole nother measure. And maybe, how does the saying go? Like, when the measure becomes the goal, something to that effect. You know, if you're
Yeah, good
trying
art's
to,
law.
exactly, right, you're looking to measure something, not looking to max. I don't know how it goes, but yeah, when
Yeah.
that becomes the only thing you look at,
When the
it kind of
metric becomes
defeats.
the goal, then it's not valid anymore, basically.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, let's. I think what we're leading up to is that we're easing up on the FTP test, and we really need to show our group, our team, that there are so many other things to look at, to mark your improvement other than FTP, and can't wait to get through
Yeah.
that. And so that kind of leads us to what's coming up next. Next challenge. What do you got in store for us, Lori?
It's going to be great. We've been teasing about this. First, I will say about FTP, I just wrote a 1 week plan that tapers you and leads you fresh and not fatigued to take your FTP test. So that's in the all access. It's launched already. If anyone is interested in doing a test in the interim, or you haven't done a test in a while and you want to, it's not part of the programs. It is a separate 1 week plan. And it does give you some very important aspects, which are rest. When we want to take something like an FTP test and be accurate and be successful with it, we don't necessarily want to look at the cycling training and then add in rowing, add in running, add in lifting, add in everything else. Those are activities, not necessarily training when we're looking at the bike. So I would say, if you're interested in testing, that's there, and that's really cool. Um, next next program is going to be awesome. I'm super stoked about it, I have to say.
So wait, let me just jump in. So
Yeah.
if you're all access, you can spend one of the 2 weeks off doing a whole week leading up to an FTP test by taking this 1 week plan. What's it called?
Well, it was called the Bridge Plan, and I think we called it Preparation and Execution. We changed the name this morning. So it's
Okay, so
a
if you go into the
FTP
plans in
preparation and
all
execution.
access,
Yeah.
plans in all access, and it's called what? I'm sorry.
FTP plan, preparation and execution.
All
So it's
right, yeah,
a
cool.
week long
So,
plan based on taking an FTP test. So it'll
and
build
would
you
you
up for that.
recommend doing that the first week off or the second week off, or it doesn't matter?
Either is fine. And
Okay.
maybe folks don't need to do it at all, right? A lot of folks have discovered, hey, my zones feel accurate, or they don't feel accurate. But for those who would like to prepare and execute a test, this is a good way to do it.
Right. Awesome. So, okay. So that's what I meant to include before we jump into the next program, is what are your choices, or what do we recommend? And
Right.
that's one awesome choice that you could do if you feel like you want to test your FTP at this
Mm-hmm.
time. Take that plan. And
Yeah.
I've also mentioned that if you are going for a either the Hincapie or another Fondo on June 1st or close by, that I will provide some timers for week 2 of the 2 week off. And also,
Good.
has Brian done some bridge plans as well?
He
Are
has.
there?
He's done a bunch of plans. In the last 3 months, he's been busy just writing plans. Your
Okay,
road to 100 miles and your road to 50 miles and that kind of thing. So
but
there are
bridge
also,
plans.
yes, there's a couple of 2 week and 1 week bridge plans in there as well. So
Okay, so that's what we're
designed to
saying is,
take us
if
from
you're
one program to the next.
that's what we're saying, is that in all access there are some plans in the Team Wilper's website environment
Hmm.
to find some programming.
Yeah. But
Those are
can
a
I
few
say one
options.
more
All right,
thing, which is, it's
please.
okay to have no structure for 2 weeks. I wouldn't sit on the
Right.
couch because we detrain really quickly, but it's okay just to ride your bike and have some fun, or do the other things that you haven't been doing. If structure stresses you out, which a lot of people it does, we think, oh, I need a plan. But then once you start doing the plan, you're like, oh my God, I have to do the plan and it's stressful. It's okay to have unstructured time. We can just have training time, and that's okay. We can
I
ride our
love
bike
it.
or do the other things. I
Yeah.
was telling Greg earlier, I just went and picked up a commute bike, an e-bike. I've never ridden an e-bike ever until today. But I bought this really cool, it's yellow, it's cute, and it's meant to be my grocery getter. I live in a village where if I move my car, I lose my parking spot forever. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to use a bike and it's at the bottom of the hill. And I just zoomed around on my e-bike today for fun. I was like, this is really cool. So it's okay just to play too.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, cool. So tell us what's coming up on the what's it called? Bloom and Burn or Burn and Bloom?
Bloom and Burn, I think. I don't name
All
them,
right.
by the way. I think someone in marketing names them. But um, we've talked about this a little bit, and I'm just super excited. So instead of just a Power Zone challenge, we decided to focus on a different way to gauge our fitness. And the benchmark for fitness this time will be a climb event. We are planning it in conjunction with Greg has an event called Get Out and Ride. So on the 18th, so on the first Saturday of the event or of the program. And then on the 8th week on that Saturday as well, we will do a climb event. We're working with Landon, who runs Pelafondo and Climb. And he has a whole suite of different apps he's been working on. And he developed one just for us to do some benchmarking. So it'll give us the opportunity to basically test out a climb, which is different than a climb class. We were having this conversation in our coaching meeting this morning. When you look at the classes that are focused on climbing, I would say they are training. This is performance, meaning I can train specific systems in my body and train myself to be able to climb without actually doing a climb, but this is our benchmark of the climb. So the training that we do will increase VO2 max and climbing strength. That's really what it comes down to. And it'll be super fun and different than what we've been doing in the past. We'll have a 3-day option, a 5-day option, which really I would say, but the reality is it's a 7-day plan. So we want you to go in, we want you to take advantage and check off that you did your rest day, because rest days are super important. You're going to find that the workouts that we do in this program are going to be pretty intense. So I want you to go in and be rested and ready to do the intensity. And to do well with it. So, yeah.
I love it. The dynamic, I think people mostly lose the fact that things need to be dynamic and don't ride easy when they're supposed to ride easy, or rest when they're supposed to rest.
Right.
So we're actually naming the days off, and you get points or credit or kudos for taking a day off when it's supposed to be day off.
Right. The other thing that I think is really interesting is, and we chatted about this a little bit in one of the groups, is I went through and I found all the pure Zone 2 endurance rides. When we look at PZE, the way that Peloton presents it, it's not quite the same as endurance that I would do outdoors, which is truly a Zone 2 ride. Zone 2 and Zone 3, and especially those of you who ride at the top of your zones, so you know who you are, including me. I'm always like, I don't want to fall behind, so I'm going to ride at the top. That's not really endurance. We're riding with a little too much intensity. So you're going to find a mix of Zone 2 endurance, traditional PZE, some PZ classes, some PZ max classes, some Tabata classes, and also some climb. So there's a lot of different stuff going on in here. It's going to be super fun. Very different than what we've done in the past. And I'm pretty stoked on this one. I have to say, I'm pretty passionate about it. So
that's so cool. And then on my side of things with the timers, you will also see some differences, because we're leading into, so this is kind of chapter 3 or training block 3 of this season, with the intent of coming to an event on June 1st, like we talked about for the whole time. So a lot of people aiming at Hincapie. And maybe other people around the country are aiming at other things within like a 2 or 3 week period. That still works depending on how you time it up. But the dynamic properties you'll see, or the dynamic whatever you'll see, you'll notice that I'm starting off with an overload week. So I definitely do want people who are aiming for an event to follow something during the off, at least the second week of the off, and I will provide those timers in the Facebook group, and I'm going to hit you with an overload week, mostly with the amount of volume on your long ride on Saturday. Now, that's if you're training for an event on June 1st. And then we'll taper down bringing you to race day with your game face on. But then, similarly, I threw some Tabata. I threw a nice Tabata progression in the
Nice.
second half. So I think week 3 is the event. Week 4 would be a recovery or transition. So week 5 and 6, I have Tabata rides that build on each other. It's kind of fun. I don't do that too often, so I'm looking forward to that. Quite a bit of intensity, but also the days off are super important. I even threw in strength days. You have to do strength these days after the event. I feel so weak after an event. I'm like, you got to lift weights. I didn't put a specific strength workout in there, but hey, that's just noting that that's important. And maybe in the future we can get Coach Ryan to weigh in on these things and just keep adding to the thing. So likewise, I am super excited. I'm also super excited that you're here doing one side and I'm doing another side, but still we are really working together to bring these programs to everybody. So what fun. Anything else you wanna leave everybody with for the 2-week break?
Not really. I hadn't thought of that. Sorry, Greg.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you like that. Yeah,
that's okay. Usually I'm good. A little tiny bit of jet lag. I'm denying it. I was showing. So I bought one souvenir in Mallorca. We were having lunch on this beautiful Port de Palencia. Yeah. Anyways, it's gorgeous. And the ocean is this color. And right outside the cafe, there was a ceramics shop with handmade and hand-painted ceramics. So I picked out the smallest thing I could pick out to put in my jersey and take home with me to remind me of the beautiful ocean that I didn't go in.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's not super warm. Yeah, and I just had my shot of espresso. So I'm like, okay.
I like it.
We can make it through the day. Yeah.
It sounds good. Well,
anyways,
I hear you
I would just say for these 2 weeks, first of all, congratulations to everybody who is completing this challenge. I know that it was different and interesting and challenging, and thank you for embracing me coming in as a fresh new face in the coaching side here. And enjoy your 2 weeks off. We're going to have a lot of fun. So feel free to throw out some questions on the Facebook groups and we'll chat it up and check out what we've got going on. So
that sounds awesome. And so, just speaking of welcoming and the community and the team, what an awesome team. Matt Welsh is home. And if you're watching this and don't know what happened to him, please just check out the Facebook group and get caught up on that. But Matt, brother, welcome home. I am so happy that it seems like you're doing well. And I sent him a hat, and I told Emily to put the note in there that says, hey, you get the hat for the athlete briefing that we did, not for falling off your bike in South Carolina. Okay, this isn't special treatment. Yeah. So it's just a testament to how close I feel with him and with others in the group, and that we can joke around, and just, man, so glad everything is looking like it's going to be all right. And what a way to bring everybody together and show what a family we are. So very cool.
Well, and his sense of humor is intact, which is good. So they
totally.
did not. Yeah, and he said even with the broken ribs, he's learned how he can laugh without hurting himself.
That's impossible. I don't know how he stood up and hugged that guy. That's.
Dude, I know. I watched that video and I was like, how did he do? I got hit by a car years ago and broke a couple ribs. It's the only time I've broken a bone cycling, and it was extremely painful. And it was interesting because I then, the 2 days after, I think, had to audition to teach spinning classes at a gym, and I was like, with broken ribs.
Oh, no.
And it just hurts. You can't sneeze. You can't lay down. I slept in a chair, and you definitely can't laugh. And I just had two. I can't imagine like a whole rib cage broken. Oh,
yeah.
But
I don't know, Matt. Yeah. All right, hang in there, buddy. All right, everybody else, we've got it. See you in a couple weeks live, but before that in the Facebook group. And thanks, everybody. We will see you soon.